Welcome back to part 3 of the new Black Skies reviews mini-series for the new Joytoy Fear 3 Heavy Firepower type mech. Just to recap, we are doing a mini-series to take a highly detailed look at this really cool offering from Joytoy. In part 3, we're going to be taking a look at the articulation. Now, I've chosen to do the articulation before the assembly process because I've done other miniseries for Fear 1 and 2, and they're pretty much the same substructure, same articulation almost, but it's easy to actually view the articulation in the moving joints without putting on the armor, because more than likely I'm going to go ahead and guess this is just going to be as fiddly as the other two. That means because the way the armor goes on, it just is held on with these Velcro straps and some other materials, little connectors. The armor doesn't really snap on anywhere; it just kind of sits on the body. And obviously, once you add these armor pieces, they're going to hinder the articulation's range, and they're going to flop around, probably loosen up, and try to more likely fall off. But it's kind of like a precursor. I already know it's going to happen. So this way we can take a look at the substructure, and we can see how high the range is on these substructure exoskeletons. Okay, we're going to start off a little differently. We're going to start off at the lower level of the mech. The reason being is I'm trying to keep this video in a landscaping format. And I need both of my hands. So with my current setup, I just don't have the range to fully have a full-on video of the mech without actually holding the camera. So we're going to work from the bottom of the feet to the top of the waist, and then we're going to leave him in a sitting position, and then we'll take a look at the rest of the upper body articulation. So it makes it a little different, so it'll be alright. So here's our feet. It does have these pistons here on the side. So for the articulation, he will pivot down like this. We do pivot up to the front. Obviously into this piece it's that. We have toe articulation up. We have a little down, not much compared to the other one. We do have ankle rockers. You can go to the side. So he can spread his legs probably pretty good, and you can get a nice range open stance for stability on this range. Let's see here. Does that rotate? Doesn't feel like it rotates there. You can rotate the entire leg, but we'll definitely take a look at that. So on the back of the leg, we have these little flaps. They can raise up. So there's articulation right here, and there's articulation at the top of this piece that's connecting this little panel on. So you can do that. You can stick it out. You can flop it up like that. Raise it all the way up if you would like. On both of those are the same. You have this little micro one here. It's pretty much just an up and down. It goes up about that much. You can flare these out to give it a little more of a dramatic appearance, or you can leave them down to hide. And you can see underneath there, there's like those two little pistons. Now for the knee, now for me, I always like grabbing the top of the joint, the bottom of the joint, because these are fragile pieces. These ain't for heavy play, in my opinion. So we got this bottom joint here. We're going to be very careful with, and it goes about that much. When you're articulating these, one thing you want to watch out for is these pistons right here. They sometimes pop out, and they are sometimes difficult to get back in. So you're going to be very careful with that. So there you go. That's just the bottom joint right there, and that's the range you get. Now let's try to get that back down. They are quite stiff, so be very careful. They are like a ratcheting. It's not really, I don't want to call it soft. I wouldn't call it a hard or even fluid. They are tough. So that's for the shin part. Then you have articulation right there. If you watch that piston, how it collapses inside, that's a cool feature. But you just gotta watch it doesn't get popped out. But if you overshoot your range, and then you can damage it. Okay, I can't get that to bend anymore, so I'm assuming that is the articulation for that joint. So then we have some articulation here. This will do your 360 spin on your leg. Put that back down. You're all the way around. It kind of gets caught up a little bit somewhere. Not sure what's going on there. I'd be just careful with that. So it's more like a thigh rotation. Now you have articulation here at your cylinder. You can spread his legs pretty much like that much if you wanted to. See if I can get that in the range. There you go. So spin that much, and both legs have the same articulation. I think that this would actually rotate 360 all the way around if you let it backwards. This is very difficult here. So let's do one leg front and one leg back. So he's pretty much folded in half. So this box out of the way. Like so. So he's got a huge range there. So this is what we're just pretty much going to leave him. You know, that's the back and that's the front. We're going to leave him in a sitting position so we can take a look at the other articulation here. And then you can hear that ratcheting, I think, through the camera. Just want to take your time when you're rotating these. And we'll make sure none of our... See, this is what I'm saying, how some of these pop off due to the range limitations. If you can see that right there. And what's really nice about this piece is that this didn't pop out of here. Well, that's a pain, but all you gotta do is spin this back around and get that black clip right back on right there. So those will pop off, so be very careful there. Let's see here. Does this work out for us sitting wise? So he does have all this soft goods here. Obviously he has a 360 waist swivel. Yeah, it's all the way around. It's going to be hindered because you have this soft goods here. And I really didn't want to take all that off because it's a process to get this back on. So you have a 360 waist right there. Okay, so let's see if I can alter my camera just a bit so we can look at this a little better for the upper body. Okay, let's see if this works out for us. I guess we can do his arm. So his arm does rotate 360 all the way around. You can see how high this goes straight up in the air. Basically. It goes 360 all the way around. If you wanted that to do that. Right there. And they will go out and all the way up that way. Then obviously they do go all the way down. Let's see here, we have rotation here, 360. And then we have the elbow here. It's about that much. And that will give you a little over 90 overall. So let's see here, we have no other articulation. So for the hand, these do rotate 360. Oh, there's rotation here, all the way around 360. Yep, the hand comes out. Let's utilize that detached part so we can take a better look at the hand. So this will rotate here all the way around. It's kind of on a peg system on a ball. You go up and down on it. It's very stiff. Side to side, up and down, back and forth. His fingers are very articulated on his thumb. Bendable thumb. Goes up, goes down. here, bends there, and then we have articulation at the base of the thumb. Like so, and then you can open it back up, and then you have two other joints that you can manipulate to get your desired pose. Now for the fingers, yeah, it's really stiff. I thought this one actually went a little farther up like this one did, but I think I'm not going to force it. Oh, the white piece is stopping it. Normally it would go all the way up like straight like this one is. So fingers do spread. So if all the fingers are the same, we have a little articulation here at the tip. At the knuckle, finger knuckle there, we have the bend, and then we have a base. So you can get whatever you want on holding his weapon or grabbing whatever. So it's very well articulated hand. It's very cool. So both arms and hands are the same, obviously, retrospect to the right and left hand. So you can raise this chest panel up. So we have some fins here on the side, I guess, and they do collapse in. If you can tell that, see that at least. They up and down, and then we have a connector piece right here that allows for like a all the way back, and then you can actually pivot it like upward if you wanted to do that. You know, you can do something like that if you wanted to, or just raise it completely up. It's pretty much what it's made to do. And the reason we're taking a look at that under here is because he has these butterfly shoulders that you can pop out like this. And you can see inside here. It's not going to be little blocks. But I think you get a more deeper range too for like holding his weapons. I'm just trying to be careful not to break it. As you can see, that's pretty. I'm gonna call it quits there, just for safety purposes. And then you can see how well that came out. I'm going to show you how that goes back in. Just take your time. And it seats right back inside there, which is, I think that's really, really cool. So on the back here, that piece we flopped up here is some articulation right here too. So it allows it there. And then we have it right in here. Okay, let's take a look at the head. You can look down. And that's with all the soft goods on. I'm not going to take this off because it looks like a pain to get it back on. So it looks like inside there it's on the joint. It's not much side to side at all. Okay, it does want to turn a little bit. That's creeping me out a little bit. That way with 360 rotation. Yikes. Yeah, so that's not too bad. So we have these like guns or motion sensors and some kind of arrays. So they do turn all the way around 360 if these pads are in the way. They also pull out the removable, and that's how you take off the cockpit. So if you wanted to do that. But when you do put this chest plate down, it does hinder the head articulation a good bit. So on the back here, the cockpit does open. Creaking. Very careful. We'll go all the way down like so. And this kind of can move a little bit. And then for this piece here, you're going to be careful. It's usually stuck. It's meant to be removable. to help you fit a figure, which is you're going to fail with on most of your figures. You need something very, very small with no armor. Like a female will fit in here barely. I haven't found a Joytoy male that fits in there yet without. I've already taken all the armor off, but most of the figures don't fit, unfortunately. And unless you pretty much bare bone, you might be able to smash them in there if you want to. But yeah, sometimes you have to get something to pry under here. If you use a pair of pliers, you risk scratching or damaging or breaking this piece. So you need to get something to get under there. Something very thin. I have actually been using this thing for a lot of stuff. So I cut underneath of the little piece that was there, and I kind of worked it up all the way down on both sides, and it came out relatively easily. It's just from being in there, from being brand new. But once you do it, you can pretty much work it with your fingers. But you'll need to release that so you can try at least to put whatever figures you have inside the cockpit. And definitely expect for these noises. And the materials feel breakable. You see, if you would try to pull on this piece, I would watch, you might crack his pieces here. Try to stay close as you can to your joints. If it matters to you, keeping it in a pristine state. We'll talk more about playability in another episode of the miniseries. But I think I might have covered almost all the articulation on this guy. Yeah. So he sits pretty good, I guess. If you want your mech to sit, sits really well. I mean, you could probably raise his feet even higher if you wanted to. Yeah, like we showed you on the split image of the front and back leg going one way versus the other. It's very, very, very articulated, but I'd be very careful in the sense of how you manipulate. You want to take your time, go slow, don't grabbing it and then yanking on the joints and expecting it to perfectly bend. They are, however, except you could hear there's a ratchet there. I don't know how long it's going to last. So if, I don't have a test model to sit there and count rotations and see how many times you can bend it before the ratchets fell, or, obviously wear, eventually it will. Everything wears. So you want to grab on the top and bottom of the joint and don't have a lot of leverage on your appendages, basically. So in part 2 of our miniseries, we touched on these interior hidden pouches. I think this is really cool because you can use this guy as more of a camo bot. He has the power. He seems massive, apparently, that you can throw in all kind of gear or weapons that you can get to fit. And I think that is one heck of an idea, and I don't think it's been showcased. So we're going to do it right now. So I got some of my retrieving hack stuff, because here's like a crowbar, for example. Let's see what we can do with this. And as you can see, there's a crowbar. We have a hammer. And I thought this would be, if you need to carry all this, for example, in the battle, your guy can do it. You got a crowbar. What else we got? If you want to beat somebody with a golf club, we have that option. Just getting it to start, and then you don't have to put them all the way through all of them. I'm just going to do a basic overall review of this, and you can put it halfway through and then use the bottom section for something else. It is similar. This fucks you 4 of those right there. This is just for demonstration. Let's see what else we have here. We have an axe. This fire axe. That's a cool axe. Retrieving axe makes great stuff. This is probably getting more into playability, right? We probably should have saved this part, but that's pretty cool. You know, and then I guess we'll just do it now since we started. If you wanted to stick, you know, a bat in there, you can stick a bat in there, or, you know, let's see what else we got here that we can demonstrate. And we could take a couple of these out, like maybe the axe and the golf club, for example. I mean, if you want to take some katana swords in the battle. When you store your Joytoy extra weapons in here, like if you have in your Joytoy, I love this sword, is amazing. You know, just like you're gonna have to like be careful because you don't want to have weapons sticking up in his face. So you have to choose your longer weapons like down here, like your swords, because you definitely would want to bring this down, and that way, see, it's hidden for the most part. Don't forget you don't have his armor on. Here's like a rifle, for example. This is just currently what I have, but you can pretty much rig this any way you want, coming through the bottom. You know, however, for the rifle, I think this is a wonderful feature, and needs to be showcased. And there's a shotgun. And then any rifle, you just have to, like, you know, if you had like a rifle that was bulkier, you can't fit the body through there, but you fit the muzzle through, maybe the stock on down here, for example. Once he's standing, you know, they're so close together, you could literally use like this one here for the stock and that one for the top, and then obviously that hold your larger machine guns, assault rifles, whatever. Even like for this little pistol, you can use the centerpiece for extra pistols. Let's see if I can get it to work here. It's hard to see through the camera. And then you can put a pistol in there like so. That's really cool. I mean, I think that's amazing. I could probably go on all day long playing with this just to see what fits and how I can organize it. But just want to give you an idea of that. I probably should have saved it for the playability part, but you know, we might touch on it again. Who knows? But give you a little sneak peek, a little bonus in this video of how cool that feature is. What's definitely interesting, there is some of this on the side. Like if we take the where's the pistol at? You put the pistol in here. You know, on the sides, knives, whatever. And then he has this hidden one here. I'm not sure if I want to leave that there, but that's another one. But I got to see what's going on with the instructions for the overall assembly and how it all goes together. But maybe we'll relocate that one just for playability purposes, right? All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed part 3 of our mini series for the Fear 3 heavy power type mech. And it's got a lot of articulation. I'd be careful, you know, articulating it. You don't want to break it. Recommendations are light play / display purposes. If you do manipulate it, just grab it at each ends of the joints. It's really nice. It doesn't seem like the metal paint is chipping at all, so the paint has nothing to do with the movement of the joints, which is great. Keep an eye out for those little leg pistons. They do pop off every now and then if you go past the threshold. So that's about all I got for recommendations for so far as we go through our mini series. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to comment down below if you have any questions. Please share the video with all your fellow collectors and family and friends. And we will see you in part 4.